Hi, I wanted to address some videos that I made earlier in which I was talking about the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. You know that he's been in the United States for the last couple of days, and he met with a couple of private citizens who were influencers, and they say that the goal was to get them to sway the American public in the favor of Israel so that they can have more support here. Now, my question to them was this. The only time that this has happened when you've had a world leader meet with individuals as of record, this is from my research, was when Mussolini did it in 1920. Then you had Trujillo from the Dominican Republic. He did it in the 1930s. And then you had Castro in the 1960s. And normally that's with business leaders, or that's with people in colleges and universities when they want to try to get people to be in their favor, the American public. And so this is the same thing with Benjamin Netanyahu. My question was this, though. One of the influencers implicitly asked him, what do we do when we have evangelicals, people like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, and they do not necessarily agree with us? Now, I'm paraphrasing. His comment to her was, these people are the woke right. They are insane. They are lunatics. And we must do something to sway them to be on our side. He said, even if we have to use the tools of battle. He even mentioned something about drones. Now, anytime a world leader makes that kind of comment about anyone. And so I got the impression that he's saying anyone that's like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, or any American that does not agree with us, evangelicals, evangelical Christians who are not on the side of Israel, then we must use the tools of battle to make sure that they get on our side. I saw that as a threat. And so I asked my president of the United States, Donald Trump, my Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and my Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, what do you do when you have a foreign leader to come into our country, and whether it is an implicit threat or an implied threat? Why did you let it happen? Why didn't you address that immediately? People, it's all over X. It's all over social media. That should not happen. And I asked that question because I have been on TikTok for a couple of years. My account was recently demonetized. My entire account, I have 150,000 followers in this account. I've had a larger account with almost 400,000 in it. And my account was demonetized because of one video. The title of that video was Christians are under attack in the United States. Now, to even go further, here on TikTok, I have had many videos where they have labeled the new label now ineligible for recommendation. And these are the names of these videos. One of them was Charlie Kirk and the question of free speech. The other, Christians are under attack in the United States. The other, have U.S. politicians abandoned Christians? All of those videos, they all received a warning because I mentioned the name Christian. Anytime I put a comment anywhere in TikTok, it automatically is flagged. And we know that our Congress, our U.S. Congress, they got over on us with this one. You know, in March of 2024, they signed something to force TikTok to sell to an American. And because they said they were protecting our data from China. However, from what we've been told recently, that the people that they sold it to, they each have videos talking about what they're going to do to suppress free speech, where we cannot continue to talk about whatever we're talking about. And so I say to you, if Benjamin Netanyahu can say before a group of Americans that they must do something like control TikTok, control X, so that they can control evangelicals, which we all know are Christians, then we have a problem in this country. We can pretend it's not a problem. Everybody can look the other way. But let me tell you what's going on in the United States. We have Democrats over here who are fighting our law enforcement so that they can have crime. It's the most insane thing, talking about insanity. Then we have Republicans over here on the right, and they are not defending Christians in our country. Americans, we have a problem, and everybody can sit here until we've seen what happens to countries when everyone just sits and doesn't say a word. It's time for Americans to realize we have an insane left, and we have a right over here who is not defending American citizens. Anyway, that's just my take. Thank you.